I'm going to make a few sentences out of the few videos I've just sat through. This is To Conquer or Be Conquered continued. I believe in Canaanites. I believe that these people are walking around. They are totally capable of being understood. I believe we're all fallen in some bloodline as the heritage of humanity. But I also understand there are the unforgiven, unpardonable, unmentionables, and the other thing are to be considered. I had so much to say, and I got distracted. And to be honest with you, I wanted to make the video in landscape, not vertical, so I could plug my charger in over here at my apparatus here, a little homemade stand. And I was just setting it up, but I can't do anything right, so I'm gonna say, you know, my hair is wet, so I'm flathead right now. The whole thing is, it's like this, without being distracted as best I can with my big head. Here, I wanted to put the background in for me here, not something else. So I'm sitting in my guitar chair instead of my office chair, which would have been more comfortable to sit in the chair over on the other side of the room, but this is for the visual. Okay. I'm not falling off the wagon. I'm in strong sin. I masturbated a couple times over the weekend. I don't have the purity. I haven't seen pornography. I won't. I've been reporting what looks like horse dick on YouTube cover thumbnails for training your horses to lay down and shit like that. So I'm in that mind that I couldn't, you know what it was, is I couldn't take the heart attack. I was having strong difficulties laying here in my apartment alone with nobody to talk to after having extreme distress over the weekend from phone calls that and situation that I didn't understand where it was coming from, but I got thrown out of a post upon entering for the third time meeting the commander as he was having some kind of a day off on the weekend with his, and he didn't want to look at me because I don't know what's going on, but I believe in spiritual warfare, and I'm not going to pretend that I have a beat on everybody else's perception about me. They have a right to treat me any way they fucking want, and I also have a right to react to them any way I fucking need to, based on that confrontation or initial contact at the time I'm there, under the law, within reasonable force. So I'll say, when I said, fuck you, Commander, at the end of it, when he had some goombot come up to me to throw me out of the fucking bar, when I was supposed to go in there to talk to somebody, ask why they weren't calling back American Legion service number, main number from Orlando, Florida, to call up here to Jacksonville, Florida for me, and nobody's contacted them. And then I go face to face to find out there's some really bad shit going down, and I don't even know what the hell happened. But you know what? Telling me I'm not welcome, or pushing me around, or then reaching out to a second post later that evening to report that, and then finding out they didn't call me back as they were supposed to. I'm just being fucked around with, and I understand that as a man. So with that as my heart rate and my disturbance and my blocked bowels, because I've been eating too much starch and too much fucking bag chip shit, kind of like Chex Mix cheap stuff, and loading up with all this shit in my guts now, instead of my diet, which was pretty straightforward. I was eating pretty good. I couldn't take it anymore being celibate, sitting here and having chest pains and arm numbness and everything, and I can't lay down. So even with the change of weather, I started to try to sleep and everything. I had to eat in order to put myself out. So I'm sorry I look like an asshole to the public. Couldn't play the guitar last night. My guitar's out of tune and won't come back to tune no matter what I think. I can't play through those little headphones anymore that are blown on top of my little subwoofer. I'm having logistical issues with my physicality, my financial commitment here to the state of Florida to pay my bills as I'm doing, but then I don't have enough money to eat or move around with as I'm moving around very poorly. And then I have the problem with my son that doesn't want to communicate with me. I have no known whereabouts or understanding. He's supposed to be a member of my household. This is going almost on 30 days missing from my apartment. No contact. He called me one time to leave a quick voice, ear to ear live, not a voicemail, and told me I'm not dead. Click. I said, what the fuck is this? And he's supposed to just text me if he wants to move out, change his address formally. I need to know what I'm supposed to do under a Section 8 housing voucher, as he's a member of my household today. And I'm scared for his safety after I saw what he's up to. All right, so there's my stress. Now it's Monday, no, it's Tuesday, and it's fucking another day that I don't have much to do other than stare at the phone. So what I'm going to do is try to comment on a couple of those videos. Yes, I believe the interpretations are fairly accurate. It's nice to see the ecumenical Christians, the evangelicals, banding together in their tax-free status and trying to go over Scripture. I think it's important to be men and recognize what's going on. What I was reading posts from this morning on Facebook, and I commented, because they started to bring me down. Things in the UK, things in the general speaking terms. Cultural differences allows Muslims to rape people, masturbate with our kids, on our kids, in public areas. And the public community standards are skewed to allow them no jail, no penalty because of cultural differences for Muslims. That's the UK's position. That's a lot of people's position in the world today. Also, they have the right to communicate to the United States and everywhere else that Islam has the responsibility and the right to kill us for not respecting them. And they go about their merry ways, as you watched Presbyterian, which is Mr. Trump's professed canon of faith and dogma. And then you say, what are these people doing? They have female ministers who are lesbian, elsewhere, other, and promoting transmugenic same-sex marriages, bonding with the children, and pedophilia, mutating our children in the public sector, in our Common Core education programs, and public outreach for troubled families through Child Protective Services, tax-funded paying government program sponsorship through the community and the clergy out here, United States of America, for example. And they're stating that we're all Muslim. And the Muslims, it's basically because the Muslims say, we'll kill you if you're not. And so the people basically are adhering to these false precepts of people out here walking around in the ecumenical, evangelical, Christian sectors. I don't know about the Jewish. They don't talk to me. They blocked me out completely my entire life. I won't pretend that I know a Jewish person or have much respect or faith for the Jewish people outside of the fact that they make good kosher pickles. But I don't know them because I'm too much of a sinner for them to communicate with me over my 48-year history of being a human being. So I'm not saying anything that I haven't said before. The only thing I'm saying today is, oh, what's the fuck? You're going to mince words. Don't mince words. Just speak. Here's my position. I, Austin Emil Santalella, biological paternal name Jones from New Bedford, Massachusetts, recently discovered, 2014, with supposedly indigenous heritage, do hereby attest, as best I can as a sinner, this statement, which is what I proceeded with and will continue more to follow as such. Look, I said things about the Pope. I don't have faith in system. I don't believe in the position and potential of the human being fulfillment in the United States of America at this time. I believe you can understand each other as a military aspect, as far as rank, role, and structure. I don't see adherence to the law. I see dual standardship for the chosen and the ones who are to be eliminated or corralled into a controlled program, never to flourish and procreate. and remarry or consider themselves home ownership. I don't find anybody funny. I wish I wasn't as angry and depressed and pissed off as I am under my physical duress and my political position as prisoner and without court. I'm disabled, but yet disenfranchised for more than 20 years, United States of America, failure to populate it, with my position as petitioner for re-entry, honorable discharge 15 years after my service, commitment, separation date, never restored, money's owed, rating reclassified and re-examined, yet not offered the opportunity for treatment for physical, not imaginary conditions, injuries sustained in duty. That's my position. Then I come in with the church. I believe the blacks and the Muslims are of the Canaanite. I don't believe in facts supporting anything else. You can convert them, but it's a matter of our blood and the DNA. And I hate to brag, but the facts are the history of the American people is a dupe. I do believe in the ancient societies prior to the established order of written account based on the conquerors over the conquered. There's enough anthropological and theological evidence to support a completely other world view than the prescribed adherence to standards and norms established under charters and treaties by the Vatican and their supposed sycophants in the form of Western culture, civilization, and law. If you can't understand the history, then that's not my fault. I would just submit that we're overrun. As ancient Greek civilizations under Alexander and Alexandria and the subsequent centuries that followed proved with the Roman, proved with the Chinese, the Huns, it proved you can't support an ideology, no matter how true it is, if you can't defend it. And basically by overpopulating the situation or importing, infusing alternate theological or ideological constructs into any quarters or sectors, no matter how strong and austere and influential a position the governing factions might uphold to adhere to truth, you can't support it by being overrun from the birth and the infusion of sensibilities that are alternate to those views of the established governing political faction that created the effect initially. Whether it was just cause, righteousness, or God's condemnation, that is the way of the world, in my view. So with that said, yeah, the Canaanites, the slant-nosed Ethiopians, the toll bridges, afterlife, those are my senses. And I don't know to what degree I'm right or wrong. I only know from the ability to smell my own metallic blood when it bleeds and how I see it tastes, chemistry, interacting with others. Is it lustful? Is it trustful? Is it something to be conscious, to accept, or to consider? You know, the story, as I understand it, is it's always a question of being tempted. Tempted to eat, tempted to touch, tempted to satiate. And yeah, you know, it's hard to control one hand from the other hand, let alone one eye from the other eye. And with that stated, I don't know if I sound like a sane person or an insane person anymore. All I know is I'm talking about theological, ideological, neo-socio-political, historical account, and I'm pretending people understand what I'm supposed to be saying in English, but I know it's very rare I'm going to be adhered to or heard in the kind of construct and concept in which I'm intending the message to be interpreted. So, with the babble I'm in, I wanted to say those few videos I just supported by watching them. Well, I'm not so sure about reincarnation because I haven't too much of a clue about it. What I do understand though, in my failure to launch on the planet Earth after about 48 years of attempted to look at the world and say, gee, what a beautiful place. Why don't everybody, where is everybody, is what I kept saying for 48 years as they were walking around me and abandoned me or pushing me to the corner. So I said, out of the limit of their experience and their comprehension, they basically threw me out 48 years. So what I want to say is I'm turning into a contemplative mentality, sensible, hopefully, in my physicality, which is damaged. And I don't know to what degree I'm going to be able to support marriage or procreation if I'm having chest pains and numb arms and all this other shit that's going on with my ability to function in a country that I really don't want to be in. I don't want to be here anymore, guys. Ma'am. Sir. No offense, but the mission has been adjusted and shifted to the point where it's unrecognizable to me for the United States position. And I don't know where I belong. I would prefer to be in a more of a sensitive community than the one I live in, which is abandonment, betrayal, negligent, derelict to my view. Clean apartment. Nice area. I would have been envious of this had I not had experienced it first person. If I saw it on a cell phone video or a picture, this guy talking, looking out the window and getting the grounds he's on and all this other stuff. But the fact of the matter is at my age, it has something to do with my spiritual effect and to what degree I'm being affected. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just stating that I can't exist this way forever. It's a lonely, long road I've been on quite some time for many, 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 many years, over decades. I'm standing here going, I'm bleeding out in my soul. I don't believe I'm having a good time. I believe I'm having a test. With this thing with my son coming down here was the only reason why I showed up, was to find the truth out. After meeting my father and his family and recognizing after 45 years before I first even heard of them as the living members that they are, and was told they were dead, and all these other, my dad was dead, and everything I was told, which was a lie. So it ends up, the stress and the shock is spiritual to me, how nobody wants to communicate with me. See, I'm doing these signs, but I don't mean to do them. Now, I recognize watching that occult video with Aleister Crowley and everything. This is 666, according to Aleister Crowley. My name's AC initials if I go by my stepfather's name, like Aleister Crowley. So I'm evil now, right? Probably. This neck is broke on this shaft in my neck with 4 screws. I do this all the time because I got a surgery right hand. What did I turn into? I turned into Diablo. Yeah, well, just so that everybody recognizes it, so did you. So did every one of you, if you want to believe that. Because you have fallen nature. Now, as far as I understand, I'm going to say it very succinctly. I say, Anathanatos Theotokos Anathanatos. And then I say that in Greek for Mother of God, Mary, Most Holy Virgin, save us. And then the other thing would be, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner, which is the Jesus prayer, which is the original Christian apostolic prayer. It's a meditation for our heart rate. And then the other thing I would say is, it's instinctive senses. And Plato was right you remember everything, and then you recognize his version of what he considered governance was: do not allow these fucking people to vote. They aren't qualified to be in a society at this time to determine the events of the republic, of the society in which it was founded upon. And that is my statement. So yes, I believe the Muslim people are Canaanite, among others. Those tribes that were supposed to be destroyed weren't all destroyed. You could see it in their genetic DNA, that they're transgenic DNA mutant, animal DNA, camel, goat, dog. They're incestuous, they're inbred. Can you not lie to us anymore, United Nations, telling us that the Africans with the bubonic plague are supposed to be allowed into Europe and our sectors in Canada? And that's another thing. Justin Trudeau in Canada, you are death marked for your fucking insolence and your inability to cope with the fact that you're supplying aid to the enemy, direct contact, while we are openly in combat with these motherfucking people. Justin Trudeau of Canada, PM May in UK, Angela Merkel, Tayyip Erdogan, you sick animal. You're dying. Whether you want me to kill you or you want somebody like me to kill you, you're death marked for your insolence and your inability to function and the capacity function of norm. And that goes for those Qataris and everybody else out there too. That's my statement. I'd rather be a 50-year-old mutant that stood here defiantly so, looking at you fucking people and go, die first, and mean it. I went to Walmart yesterday. I saw a Muslim family. The guy was fucking 7 foot tall. His fucking wife, they are fucking wrong. There's more than paranoia going on here. I'm pretty good with gang interpretation for urban gang sensory. Like a dog, I sniff them out. The activities and personnel and affiliations with their fucking illicit behavior. And I fucking can tell as I got older, when my son was bullshitting me, the cops were bullshitting me at the time they were, who they were, specific, and to what degree anybody, as a human being, Homo sapien, can fucking bullshit this guy. All I'm gonna say is keep these fucking people. I walk out of the store. I won't go near them. I'll smell the situation for a threat assessment, as I've done in upstate New York and in the past. And I caught these motherfuckers doing shit they weren't supposed to be doing. So I'm going to say it's an instinctive community contract I have out here. But may the federal government, United States of America, support me. Bring me home, because it's not here as is. And I don't intend to ever fucking want to be in a goddamn technological construct that I had to be fucking conditioned into to recognize it's got nothing to do with me, nor do I ever want to be here again. Let alone to be a fucking masturbator over a goddamn internet stream for these fucking people to show me the heinous fucking forensic hell that I had to go through instead of have a human being to fucking cohabitate with me civilly and truly in a social contract that I've been proposed into marriage 2 times. And on the 3rd attempt, through my son's mother, failure to launch, psychopathic, sociopathic, all these attitudes, incestuous. I don't want none of these people in my goddamn heart no more. I miss my son. He's my firstborn, but I can't fucking take him home because he won't come home. The United States of America are the people responsible for this goddamn conditioning. I fucking refuse you. I fucking refuse you, okay? I can't take it anymore. Just get me the fuck out of here before I fucking croak. I'm going to tell you something else. If anybody threatens me with my fucking car, my fucking ability to function as a human being with a broken neck, I'm going to say my neck is broken. I'm going to fucking murder you if you touch me.